How are you feeling?
Well,
How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
To give you some idea.
I am not completely like other people.
What do you mean by that?
People dislike me because I am not completely like them. I am trying to do with my life something which few people try to do, and this influences my thinking and consequently my action.
What is it you're trying to do with your life?
Play the piano for people.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.
is the end. I'm burning in the Soviet. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the Soviet. This is the final genocide. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the Soviet. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the Soviet. This is the final
Who the fuck is Karlyn? She's just some sweet lady. She's like in a knitting. She does like a knitting stream. She's like a knitting YouTuber. She does knitting.
Can we grow up a little bit and
Alt
not
Girl
be
sent $200.
retarded?
Have you seen the
Please.
work of Karlyn Borysenko? Anti-commie cult leader and is obsessed with looking at what actual far-left communists are talking about and organizing today, infiltrating them. They infiltrated the universities, schools, media. She has the receipts to back it up. Primary source evidence. Infestation is dire and she calls Republicans idiots eating slop. Agree.
Thank you for the big super chat. Yeah, oh, I know Karlyn B. She's solid. She's funny. I
The
like
great
her.
noticer sent $200.
Literally.
So
Not
it's,
Ian.
it's not because
Yeah.
I haven't dangled my junk into the combat zone on purpose to get some camera footage, but that's the big part of what's the
Is that
problem.
what you call reporting?
Go
and live
under if
streaming?
you're going to do it.
Yeah,
go
seriously.
undercover. Otherwise, you're wearing a hunk of meat in a lion's den. Nick Shirley, I love you. Take care of yourself, man. Karlyn Borysenko went undercover. Do stuff like that. Like if you want to expose this thing, don't pariah, please.
But Ian, here's and I agree with you to an extent.
I watch these streams, and I've been watching a self-professed fascist named Karlyn, who drinks and basically roasts these live streams. But weirdly, she has apparently embedded herself with Antifa before, and so it's such a funny stream because like,
So they tolerate her?
oh no, not anymore. She like, no. She's like, I mean, I don't know if she's trolling or not, but on her stream, she's like, I am a fascist.
Right.
So she's proudly proclaiming she's a fascist. I don't know how much of that is trolling, how much of it is real, but conservatives who are drawn to her stream will say things like, these people are funded by George Soros. And it's the funniest thing because she gets so mad. And she's like, get off fucking Fox News. Stop watching that shit. It's all wrong. Do these people look funded? Do these people look like they have money? They're not funded. It's so, and I guess her bigger point is by saying these are funded agitators and not saying what they actually are, which is anti-capitalist revolutionaries, you dilute what's really happening. Because what's really happening, according to her, and I think a fair amount of people, is that the economy is so fucked. The middle class is diminishing so much. The cost of living is so high that this is the perfect soil you need if you wanted communism to grow anywhere.
What's up, everyone? What's up? Happy Wednesday. Happy surprise. Karlyn was on Infowars Wednesday. I saw Chicken Spawn in the chat say, is Kim Iverson on Infowars? No, I was on Kim Iverson's show yesterday. And then I was sitting here minding my own business, working at my desk. And I got a text from Harrison Smith's producer, and he was like, "Can you come on today?" And I was like, yeah. Yes. Yes, I can. Yes, I can, actually. I know. You know what? I was like, you know what? I was like, I was wearing a t-shirt. Yeah, you know what happened before? Fun fact, do you know what happened before the Kim Iverson interview yesterday? Is I swear to God, this happened 15 minutes before I taped the interview with Kim Iverson. The power that fuels my bedroom, that where I have my office, like my office is in my second bedroom, right? And so there was a fuse that blew on the second bedroom power. And so I didn't have any fucking power or lighting or anything in the second bedroom 15 minutes before I was supposed to interview with Kim Iverson yesterday. And so I kind of looked a little disheveled on Kim Iverson. I was like, I had to go down to the basement. I had to crawl over a bunch of stuff to get to the fuse box. I was like, it was a miracle I even had lighting. And so I looked a little disheveled in the Kim Iverson interview. And so today I was like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to spiff it up a little bit. I wore a jacket in the interview with Harrison Smith. And I feel like the jacket took it up a notch. And I felt like I actually felt like I looked pretty good in the interview. I felt like I looked pretty good in the interview. But I have to say, like, I mean, just the last couple of days of interviews with Kim Iverson yesterday and with Harrison Smith today, holy fucking W's. Like, absolute W's for interviews for both. I mean, what a way to kind of like round out the year, and maybe more stuff will happen. There's still a couple more weeks in December, but like, I am extremely happy with the conversations that I got to have yesterday and today. And you know what? The interview with Kim Iverson was great because I got to like rail on the fact that this is not a pro-Palestinian group that they arrested. And Kim Iverson asked some great questions too. But what I loved about the Kim Iverson interview is that it, like, after we talked about the whole Antifa group that was arrested by the FBI earlier this week, she kind of started transitioning into things that actually mattered, which is, you know, how the left organizes and general information about the left. And I felt like I got to really answer some good kind of like general questions about how the left organizes and all of that stuff. And so I'm extremely happy with the interview I did with Kim Iverson yesterday, but I'm also extremely happy with the interview that I just did with Harrison Smith. Can we just talk about how awesome Harrison Smith is? Like, I watched him, or I knew about him for years, and I don't really watch other content creators. This is no shade on other content creators. I'm just really busy, but I always knew about Harrison Smith. But like this year, I feel like, I mean, obviously I really started kind of like tuning into what he was saying because I think he is one of the more clear-headed voices in the midst of all the anti-Semitism hysteria. I think Harrison Smith is fucking hilarious in the very best way, because the way that he has to critique all of the different cultural nonsense is just like, it's irreverent, it's dry, it's so intelligent. And I found myself just like he is one of my absolute favorite follows. And for him to really appreciate the work that I do, it's so meaningful to me in a way that I can't even tell you. And it's not because like, you know, he's famous or whatever. It's just like, I actually just really appreciate him. And I think that he actually does give a fuck. And that's so different because there are so many people who talk about the left online. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. It's all a grift. It's all for clout. It's all for status. It's all because they have narrative talking points that they are paid to shill. And I have been just consistently disappointed with influencer after influencer after influencer after influencer that's just completely shit the bed. And I really feel like Harrison Smith is one of the real ones. Because, and the reason I say this is not only that I think he's incredibly intelligent and that he loves my work, and I appreciate that. The reason I say that is that Harrison asked the right questions. And I'm going to clip the interview and I'm going to make sure it's on the channel and all that if you don't get a chance to see it. But some of the questions Harrison asked me today, it wasn't just about the whole Antifa Turtle Island Liberation Front thing. We did talk about that. But like, Harrison asked me today, it was such a thoughtful question. He said, What is the left doing to organize all of this? How are they this effective? And why isn't the right doing it? And he asked me before he went to commercial break. And so I had the whole commercial to think about it. But the minute, like, if you guys see the interview, you're going to see me, because he kept saying, I don't want you to answer this now. I want you to answer it after the commercial. You're going to see me like smiling because I was so happy with the question. I was like, Harrison, you are giving me a chance to intelligently speak about something that I complain about all the time to a mass audience that needs to hear it. I literally complain about this issue all of the time. And I got to do I thought it was a pretty good answer about the left puts education at the forefront of their activism. They have all these bookstores. They have these book publishers. They have these events. They're doing these trainings. They're doing this stuff all the time. I got to say they aren't just paid protesters that don't have jobs. Oh, by the way, I got to say on Infowars that Antifa isn't a real thing and that the actual queer militancy movement is called Bashback. Massive fucking W there. Harrison, I don't think really liked that I said that, but I don't really care because it is actually the whole Antifa thing drives me fucking crazy. And the minute that Harrison was reporting on some article that had Antifa in it, I was like, oh, here it is. Yeah, Andy No W, Andy No L, me W, because Antifa is not a real thing. The real term is bashback. It is a real queer militancy movement. It is actually like incredibly dangerous, and we can't talk about it because Andy No has fucking made up this Antifa bullshit that isn't even fucking real. So I was like, oh man, if I achieve nothing else in this interview, massive W being able to say on Infowars, Antifa is not a real thing, you retards, in the context of doing what I think, personally was a really intelligent interview. I think that I actually did really well to a shocking degree. And the reason that I did really well is that Harrison asked the right questions. Harrison Smith asked amazing questions. Oh, by the way, I got to talk about hang on. I got to talk about the Center for Left-Wing Studies. I got to talk about Occupy libraries. Harrison seemed to be on board with the idea of Occupy libraries. I got to do a preview of Occupy libraries. Harrison asked me, Karlyn, what are you doing with your community? What's next? And I got to say, Harrison, we're going to be doing this Occupy library stuff, and I'm going to be training people to go undercover with the far left and building resources for that, which is what I've been working on. I got to literally talk about all of the things that I wanted to talk about, and he listened and he was receptive, and I think he was actually like excited by some of it, and that's fucking cool, man. That is cool. That is cool. And so, I mean, I definitely think that, like, when we get the Occupy Library stuff together, that's going to be something that I'm going to be able to go back to him and say, hey, do you want to talk about this and stuff like that? Because I really think that one of the things that I like about Harrison is I actually do think he gives a fuck. I actually do think he just gives a fuck. And I think that he wants to see people going out and doing what we're doing. And it's so refreshing. Like, the amount of shit that I have to take from the conservative right. I usually spend probably about 75% of my time when I'm dealing with conservatives, dealing with bullshit, dealing with lies and defamation and slander and all these crazy things they say about me. Like, and to actually have someone, and I don't know if Harrison, I don't think he considers himself a conservative necessarily, but he's certainly on the right. To have someone on the right that completely gets what I'm doing. Like, he gets it. He understands why it's important. And I even got to talk about this on the show. Oh my God, I got to say this on the show. I got to say to him, I have people all the time that come on my channel and they say, Karlyn, what do we do? And I say, you need to learn about your enemy. And here's why you need to learn about your enemy. And then they go, no, Karlyn, what do we really do? And I say, you need to learn. And then I got to talk about how conservatives never want to sit their asses down and actually learn about this stuff. They just want things to go and do. I got to talk about the fact that conservatives aren't really active, and he agreed with me, and that they're waiting for the Trump administration to save them. And here's why that's a really horrible idea. Like, the interview, if you haven't seen it, man, I'll post a clip of it. It was the most W fucking interview that I have ever done. I got to say everything in actually a productive and intelligent way in like it to try. And I am genuine about this. Even when I'm complaining about something, I actually do it because I'm calling out a problem and I want to see progress. That's why I do this stuff. That's why I call out conservatives when they're behaving like fucking children, entitled fucking children that want everything done for them and don't want to actually do anything themselves. And I call them out and I say, you guys are the reason we're going to lose. You guys and your lack of vision and your lack of action, you are the reason we're going to fucking lose. You just came here from Owen Schroyer. Welcome. Welcome. I like Owen Schroyer too, to be honest. I would really like Owen Schroyer to talk to me, but he hasn't expressed any interest, unlike Harrison. So right now Harrison is my number one, and Owen Schroyer's not even at Infowars anymore. No, but I actually do like them both. I like him a lot, actually. Anyway, I hope that people enjoyed the interviews of the last couple days. I'm really excited. I'm really feeling very good about it. And, you know, I think that things are only going to get better and we're only going to gain more momentum moving into next year. You know, we're in kind of a quiet time right now. Now is quiet time. And now's the time where we can really get our shit together and start preparing for next year. And, you know, there's going to be the time we're going into the holidays next week. And, you know, the week between Christmas and New Year's is just a total incomplete wash. I'll be streaming, by the way, just so people know, I don't do anything for holidays. So I'm not Christian. We don't really celebrate Christmas. Like, we get presents for each other and stuff, but like, I don't really do anything. And so I will probably be here streaming the entire time. We'll do a Christmas special. We'll find some socialism video about socialists talking about how Christmas is just a capitalist thing or something like that. We'll do a Christmas special, and we're just gonna like take it kind of easy. We're gonna review old content. We're gonna make a bunch of clips, that sort of stuff. Anyway, oh yeah, I got to talk about this too. I got to talk about with Harrison. I got to talk about how Trump declared Antifa a terrorist organization and now refuses to fucking arrest them. Such a W interview. Such a W interview. I'm super excited about it. But the show must go on. And we can't just sit here all day reveling about the fact that I just had a kick-ass interview on Infowars that was awesome. We actually have to get down to business and do some stuff with the left. And what we're going to talk about today is one of my favorite topics to talk about. And I did a live stream on my Substack the other day where I talked about this a little bit, but we're going to talk about this little bit more now. Let me just change my thing and put the chat on the screen so you guys can see what you're saying, because God knows if you guys can't see what you're saying, you're inclined to chat less. Oh, dang. There it is. Okay. There we go. So I want to get a sense of the audience because I know, oh, by the way, hang on. Let me grab a super chat real quick. Oh no, where'd it go? Let me grab a couple super chats. First from David, Annie me up. Hey guys, if you want to play your class dues, $5 in the door. If you appreciate the work I'm doing, breaking down the far left and telling you all their language and teaching you all their stuff, please feel free to show your gratitude with a super chat on the way in the door. $5, $10, pay your class dues. You guys allow me to do what I do, and I really, really do appreciate that. So thank you, David, for anteing up right away. We also got one from Filthy Angry Irish Peasant. Let's have a conservitard free stream. Yeah, seriously. Let's have a retard free stream today. That would be awesome. We got this question here. Zines were huge in the late 80s and early 90s. Is there a renaissance of this format, or did zines ever dropped off? They never dropped off. And they were actually used even before the 80s and the 90s, although you are right that they were huge in the 80s. We really saw like an upcharge in far left leaning zines in the 80s and the 90s. And then what happened is they moved on to Tumblr. Then what happened was the internet. And the zines went on the Tumblr, and then they started publishing all their stuff online. But they do still publish a lot of stuff in person, and they have for a very long time. And zines are one of the main pieces of propaganda that the left uses in order to organize, in order to articulate their ideas, in order to do education, et cetera, all that good stuff. And so they never really left. They just changed kind of form for a time period. So I do have a zine archive that I'm building out with leftist content, and I obviously go to book fairs and things where I collect this stuff all over the country. And I do see a drop off in zines in the 90s, but then into the 2000s they started coming back. So I think it was just the internet was getting up and running. People were figuring out how to use it. They were all very excited about it. A lot of leftist organizing went on Tumblr, that sort of thing. But I want to do, we don't have any other super chats yet. You guys are letting me down. Maybe I should turn the chat off the screen until you guys pony up. Anyway, I want to get a sense of the audience that I have here so I know the topics that I need to cover. 1 in the chat, if you understand what zines are and how the far left uses them. 2 in the chat, if this is like a relatively new area for you. Because I have covered zine content in the past, and zines are something that I get when I go undercover at these leftist book fairs. So a lot of people in the chat are going to know about them, but there may also be new people here who don't know about them, and we need to make sure that we're bringing those people up to speed. Oh, look at all those 1s. Couple 2s. That's okay. Mostly 1s. Okay, that's good. That's good. So for people who are new, yo, thanks, NPC. Zines are for trading vinyls and selling guns and guitars. Well, no, they're for way more than that, but I do appreciate the money, of course. And then we've got Chicken Spawn. LOL, you turd. Here you go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the money. So, I started talking about the role that zines had on the far left, a year and a half ago? And the reason that I started talking about zines on the far left is I was actually going undercover at leftist events. I've been doing that for years. I go to their events, I go to their trainings, and one of the common things that I noticed is everyone was handing out zines. When you go into leftist bookstores, there will be a zine section where people actually publish zines. There are entire leftist zine publishers. And so about a year and a half ago, and one of the ways that we started analyzing queer Marxism was through queer zines that were circulating in the ecosystem. That way we knew like where the ideas come from, how the ideas evolve, stuff like that. So about a year and a half ago, I started talking about the influence that zines have on leftist organizing and how it's the way they all communicate. Well, shockingly, I was right. Can I get some Karlyn was right in the chat? I know I talked about this on a live stream the other day on my Substack, but there are more people here than were on Substack. And I just want to take my victory lap. I was right, mother effers. Hey, thanks, old sub. Driving. Well, be safe. Because this week, just the other day in The Guardian, there was a whole article on how the left uses zines in order to combat Trump. This has now become such a big thing on the left that they are writing articles in The Guardian about it, and I was the only one talking about this, and I was the only one looking at this, and I was the only one showing people this content for a year and a half before this article happened. That's why you come here if you want to learn about the left. Don't ignore the fucking conservative idiots. They don't look at what the left is doing on the ground. I will show you what the left is doing on the ground. And my work is incredibly predictive of this stuff. And that's why we have this article. So we're going to read this article today. And we're going to learn about what they're saying. And oh, by the way, this is the other thing. You see this zine that was featured in the article? I literally covered that weeks ago. I talked about that specific zine weeks ago. And in fact, when I was undercover in San Francisco, I went into a communist coffee shop where they were literally handing out that specific how to report zine. I have pictures of it on my phone. So not only was I talking about the right topic, I was literally talking about the correct publications. And the reason I knew what the publications were is because I go into far left spaces in real life and I look at what is circulating in the ecosystem and I look at what they're talking about online and I look at the things that are coming up in the anarchist libraries online. I look at the things that they're talking about on Blue Sky. I found a whole archive of these zines weeks ago because I was digging around on Socialist Blue Sky and then went down a rabbit hole where I found their Google Drive where they have all these zines. So, we're going to read this article, and then we're going to watch this. And I think it was Chad that sent me this. I apologize if I'm wrong. I think it was Chad, sent me this in the DMs. Chad, and I appreciate Chad. He's been in the community for a long time. Chad decided to go do some research on his own, which I do appreciate when members of my community go do research on their own and then come back and tell me what they found out. Have I ever come across any leftist newsletters or things that used to be on boards? Oh yeah, all the time, bro, all the time, literally all the time. Yeah, that stuff is prolific. And Chad sent me this and he said, Karlyn, this is an interview with the woman that was mentioned in that zine article. And wouldn't you know it, she's wearing a giant Antifa hat. So I think it's pretty clear. And this is an interview about zines. And guess what? This woman, Reagan, you're going to love this. She runs the Warzone distro. Now, the term distro is important on the far left. You see the term distro when they are handing out propaganda. The distros are the Antifa groups. The distros, which of course is short for distribution, they're distributing mutual aid, they're distributing propaganda, they are distributing resources to the far left. These are always run by radical far left This is Antifa. Okay? Every time, so one of the things I've talked about, and then Andy No suddenly started talking about it weeks and weeks and weeks after I did, if not months after I did, but that happens all the time. One of the things that I've been trying to articulate to people is that there are thousands of Antifa groups all across the country. There are thousands of Antifa cells. The vast majority of them are not called Antifa. They're called something else. We saw that this week with the Turtle Island Liberation Front. The term liberation, of course, means to liberate from capitalism, to free oneself from capitalism. A lot of these groups will have liberation in the title or abolition in the title, but there are other terms we can look for as well. We can look for the terms collective. Collective is a group of people working together on the far left. It's almost always used in that context. We can look for the term info shop, or we can look for the term distro, because it's the distros that are distributing Antifa propaganda. Reagan's not here today because it's her mom's birthday. Well, happy birthday to Reagan's mom. That's okay. Reagan can catch up later. She knows all this stuff anyway. I'm a little disappointed. She's going to be upset she missed this, though. That's okay. That's okay. Reagan knows. Actually, so the Warzone distro is a place where they distribute zines or Antifa propaganda. And this woman with the Antifa hat runs the Warzone distro. Do you want to know what else about this woman? Because we can go to the anarchist library. This woman's name is Flower Bomb. That's her name. Or they, them. This one where we talk zines and doing what you need to do has to be done. Beth and DLJ have a proper return to the podcast. DLJ and Lowe speak to Flower Bomb from the Warzone distro, and they talk about the Newark Zine Fest that happened. This was just a couple days ago. So we can, if we want to know what Flower Bomb has published, we can go to the anarchist library and look up what Flower Bomb is publishing online. And so we have things like Consequences, the inexorable nature of conflict, no hope, no future, let the adventures begin. Vegan means attack, doomed to deferral. A farewell to post-left anarchy, a direct response to the indirect jab. A feral life, this is my favorite, burning down the world. This woman actually wrote something called Burning Down the World, which you can see the Warzone distro is listed as one of the places it was distributed. Oh, this is an interview. It's an interview about burning down the world. So anyway, that's one of the ways that we can see the ideas propagating in the ecosystem. Oh, by the way, check this out. Check this out. This is on the So this is a great resource if you ever just want to do research about the far left. The Anarchist Library is... Everything in the Anarchist Library needs to be archived somewhere else. This is like home base for if you want to know what crazy ideas the left is talking about, if you want to read a document, if you want to get an idea of who's writing what, go to the Anarchist Library. One of the most helpful things that the Anarchist Library has is they have the latest entries in the Anarchist Library on the homepage. So if you go there every day or maybe a couple times a week, you can see the most recent things that have come up. The most recent things that are come up are the things that are circulating in the leftist ecosystem. Here's one that I'm going to be reading. This was just published. The enemy doesn't know how many we are. A proposal for building an insurgency. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? And then, I mean, this is a big, long document. This is a long ass, this document's going to require a whole long ass deep dive. The United States is currently at war with its own population. Those in the global south and leftist factions won. This is a table of contents. The fight will be won. Rebellion. An insurgency is needed to succeed. What does it take to build an insurgency? Social and political organizations. Fighting forces, guerrilla struggle, beyond guerrilla struggle, political education, revolutionary culture, material considerations for success, strategic timing. Who would support an insurgency? Why an insurgency would succeed in the U.S.? Hello. How to start building an insurgency, revolutionary culture, funding, summary, and then further materials. I will be reviewing this document on tomorrow on the live stream, and we will go through the entire fucking thing live, and we will read the entire fucking thing live, and we will go through every nook and cranny of this document, and we will learn what Sophia is proposing in terms of building an insurgency, because these ideas are now the things that are circulating at the very top of the far left ecosystem. And this, to me, listen, it's a long ass fucking document. This to me seems to be like, I don't know, a proposal for a pretty in-depth, detail-oriented game plan. And it's very highly footnoted, and someone put a lot of effort into this. Someone put a lot of effort into this. Let's see what else Sophia has written on this website. Hang on, let me get back up at the top. Before we continue. Let's just do a little search here for Sophia. I feel like I recognize her name. Communicate for the Arrested Comrades, Cartography of Revolutionary Anarchism, The Anarchist, A Short History of Anarchism, Anarchism, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so she's written a lot of stuff about anarchism on this website, which means this is going to be an insane document. So if you would like to see me go through that, subscribe to the channel. Come back tomorrow. We will review the entire document live tomorrow, and we will probably be deeply disturbed, and it'll probably be crazy. Hey, another way you can support the work I'm doing is by heading over to my Substack. That is Karlyn, Karlyn.substack.com. If you want to see absolutely every single post that the Turtle Island Liberation Front made on their Instagram, I archived all of it, including the videos. So I have the videos there too, but I have all of their propaganda just in case something happens to this account. I've got all their manifestos. I've got the things that they were posting. I went through every single post. I screenshotted everything so that there ain't nothing that they can do. We have all of it. And so this is just for posterity in case their Instagram account goes down or in case they delete shit. Now we have everything to include some of their manifestos where they call for literally the death of America. You can see here, America has always been the brutal, evil monster that some of you don't want to face. Death to America. They explicitly call for that. I released a video reading that the other day. I'm going to be doing more videos just reading some of this propaganda. What do we do now? This is all about revolutionary anarchism right here. And then don't be an armchair revolutionary. I'm going to be releasing a video on this tomorrow or possibly later tonight, depending on when I get done. Revolution is impossible when you only discuss it in theory without action. So often American activists will cheer on citizens of other countries for their blah, 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 blah. It is only impossible because you choose not to act. This is basically saying if you are not willing to get up and do something, there's going to be no revolution. So get off your fucking ass and go do something in the real world. That is what that document is saying. I'll release a video tomorrow reading the full thing. It'll be a nice little short video so people don't have to spend that much time on it. But this is the type of stuff I do on my Substack, guys. I show you leftist content that no one else is showing you. I walk you through these documents. I do these educational streams over on YouTube and Rumble and Twitter and Kick, whatever that website is. And I walk you guys through this stuff. I break down the language. I show you what the left is doing in the real world. I will show you things literally no one else on the internet is showing you. And if you want to come and join me and do some of the undercover and infiltration stuff that we did with that I talked about with Harrison Smith on Infowars earlier today, come and join me. You don't have to pay anything. You can just hang out, learn how to do this stuff. But if you want to fund my work, please consider doing so. I am 100% completely independently funded. I have no political masters. I have no narrative talking points. My only job is to show up and tell you the truth and show you the receipts. And I can't do it without you guys. So if you have the means to do so, I know it's the end of the year. I know it's Christmas and I know all that stuff, but I can't do this if people don't fund it. So if you have the means to do so, please sign up on the Substack. $8 a month, $80 a year, or you can send in a super chat like this one, a self-imposed late fee. I appreciate that. Breaking news! Glenn Beck just aired his last ever episode of his TV show tonight. He's about to find out just how screwed education is. He's going to try and take on the education system next year. I'll believe it when I see it. That's how I feel about it. Listen, there was a time I had a great appreciation for Glenn Beck, and then I started to understand how much Glenn Beck is not covering. And then I started to understand how much information Glenn Beck is avoiding. And so I'm kind of like, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. I do appreciate the super chat, Naruto. Thank you for that. Kind of seems like he's getting there a little bit late, doesn't it? Just saying. Anyway, I want to go back and I want to start by reading this zine article. And of course, we're going to have our handy dandy AI read it for us so I don't have to read every word. And it's going to work. We're going to will the AI to work. This is an article that appeared in The Guardian just the other day. Where's the date? December 10th. And we are going to read about how The Guardian is reporting on the far left's use of zines. And then we're going to watch a video of the far left actually talking about it. Let's see. Where's my reader?
Are 70 versions of her Gen Zine. DIY publications find new life as a form of resistance against Trump. People of all ages, from all regions, are making, printing, and distributing zines on the street. Zines have made a resurgence as communities seek to share information on everything from icy raids to local elections. On a cloudy Saturday afternoon, the Los Angeles Central Public Library bustled with nearly 100 people.
Oh, the Los Angeles Public Library has a massive zine collection. Actually, we infiltrated a zine librarians conference a couple months ago and we secretly recorded them and we tried to make their lives difficult. And then they issued a sternly worded letter about me, admonishing me for secretly recording them. But there were 2 people at the Zine Librarians Unconference that works for the Los Angeles Public Library. They have a huge zine collection.
On a cloudy Saturday afternoon, the Los Angeles Central Public Library bustled with nearly 100 people making zines. Small DIY magazines made out of a single piece of paper. There was folding, laughing, and helping with cuts. Titles like Narcan 101, Free Palestine, and an American zine, filled with illustrations and tips, lined a table down the hall.
Yeah, so Seeker says, I'm about to travel to Los Angeles. Do you want me to look for anything at the LA Public Library? Yes, Absolutely. Go in and ask them if you get a chance to do it. Go in and ask them about this stuff. But also, while you're in Los Angeles, just keep an eye out for zines. Keep an eye out if you happen to pass like a leftist bookstore or something. Go into the leftist bookstore, see what's there. Get anything free that they have. If they've got free zines, get them. They may have like low cost zines. If you want to buy those as well, that would be really cool. If you don't want to, that's fine too. But just keep an eye out, because in Los Angeles, you might find yourself in a place where sometimes they have little zine like distributing things just on the side of the road. Sometimes you'll be walking down the street and you'll see a bookstore and you'll see zines in the window. So just keep an eye out. And if you see anything, especially if it's free, grab it and just put it aside. You can send it to me. You can take pictures of it and send it to me, whatever. But like, it's super, super helpful when people see this stuff in the real world. Either take a picture of it or actually just pick it up and take it and then send it to me. And that way we can archive it all in one place, and we know what is being distributed where, because again, there are a million zines on the internet. You can find zines about anything. The question is not what zines are being created. The question is, what zines are circulating in the ecosystem? What zines are being distributed in the bookstores? What zines are they bringing to their events? Those are the things that people are reading. There are millions of zines out there. It's not, does the zine exist? It's, is the zine influential in the real world? And so we have the opportunity to see things that are actually being distributed in the real world. That is incredibly valuable. So I would appreciate that.
Titles like Narcan 101, Free Palestine, and an American zine, filled with illustrations and tips, lined a table down the hall. While this may sound like a scene from the 1980s or 1990s, when zines were popular as a countercultural form of expression, this was a workshop in modern-day Los Angeles, where immigration raids and federal threats have left residents restless and scared.
Hang on, Chicken Spawn has a good question. Hey, Karlyn, am I able to download manifestos and other documents from the Substack so I can print a bunch of shit? Well, yeah, you can download it from the Substack. You can also usually just download it directly from them. And so I'm building a database where you're going to have the ability to download stuff as well. But yeah, you can just download it and print it out. But again, like the reason that I actually go to book fairs and things is I want to know what's circulating in the real world. And so sometimes when we have stuff on the internet, that doesn't necessarily mean it's in the real world. But if you're finding it from me, it's probably because I found it in the real world. So yeah, you can always print stuff out. Totally.
Where immigration raids and federal threats have left residents restless and scared. Zines have made a resurgence in recent months.
Yeah, that is the Firestorm Co-op. I know explicitly what bookstore that is. And so that is an extremely far left radical queer bookstore. That would be a good one to go to if you want an adventure. They hold events all the time. Yep, told ya. Firestorm. We know Firestorm. We follow Firestorm.
Zines have made a resurgence in recent months as communities seek to share information, such as how to protect one another from immigration and customs enforcement, ICE, or how to resist the Trump administration outside No Kings protests. Just this week, 404 Media announced it is printing a 16-page zine that includes their reporting on ICE. People of all ages, from all regions, are making, printing, and distributing zines on the streets, in libraries, and at local gathering spots. We asked critics from authoritarian regimes what they would. Zine makers and enthusiasts say that people are likely embracing the pen and paper medium again due to social media censorship, surveillance, doxing, and the alleged suppression of certain topics on algorithms. View image and full-screen zines made.
Hang on.
There's a freedom people are craving because they're feeling so constrained, surveilled, and, frankly, threatened in so many other spheres that exist.
So what zines are explicitly, zines, I wonder if they'll actually mention this in this article. Zines are a way to escape the capitalist publishing industry. Zines exist outside of capitalism. You can make zines on your own. You give zines away for free or for a donation. They don't go through official publishers. So zines are actually designed to help socialists kind of like get out of capitalist publishing. Like, you're not creating zines because you want to make money. You're creating zines for the love and the passion of like whatever you're doing, or to educate people or organize. They view it as kind of like a pure art form that is separate from capitalism.
The co-founder of the Black Zine Fair in Brooklyn, who has been making zines since the 1980s. You can print it cheaply, copy it, and make it into something, then you can give them out by the thousands of people in your community. There's no barrier to entry, and that makes a difference. In particular, Kaba pointed to Brooklyn illustrator Megan Pienkowski's series of how to report icy zines.
And this is explicitly the zines that I reported on. I reported about this weeks ago. Do you guys remember this? I showed you her whole effing Google Drive. Hang on, let me see. I showed you her whole effing Google Drive of these zines. And I have now seen these zines in the real world. So this is all stuff, like, not again to pat myself on the back, but I literally reported on this effing weeks ago. I did a whole segment about it. There's also something connected to this. I don't know if you guys remember this. So this was connected to those hotlines. So let me give you an example. Hang on. Let me just get an example of this. So if we go into like, hang on. This has it. Okay. So if we go into one of these zines, this is the San Francisco one. I specifically saw this in person at a coffee shop in San Francisco, so I know it's being used. But here it is down here. There's a hotline to call. There's a hotline. They have set up a hotline for people to call when they see ICE in the area. And so all of these zines from all these different places, they all have different hotlines. So if we go in, there are 60 of these things. Let me see if I can get the spreadsheet up. Hang on. I'm getting my own spreadsheet. So I went through, and this is a project I want people's help with. Oh, come on. It's making me verify myself. What the fuck? Ugh! Google's making me verify myself. Okay. So I went through every single one of those zines. There were over 60 of them. I went through every single one of those zines, and I made a spreadsheet saying, here is the hotline number in the area, because they have set up these fucking hotlines all over the country for people to call and report ICE when they are in their communities. And then I said, okay, which organizations are running these hotlines? And so now I have all of the organizations that are running the hotlines that are all promoted explicitly by that one zine lady. Oh shit, I just clicked off of it. All of those hotlines that are on the screen, they're all promoted by this woman. So for my money, here was my thought process. When I found this giant archive of anti-ICE zines and I started talking about it, I basically thought, okay, this is proof that all of these people are actually coordinating. This is actually might be one of the first pieces of evidence. I talked about this a little bit on Harrison's show today. This might be one of the first pieces of evidence that exists that shows that there is coordination among all of these groups. Oh yeah, I tried calling them too. And when I called them, I said, who's running this hotline? And they refused to tell me who was running it. And they just said, we're a group of concerned citizens. So then I went and I looked up all of the different hotline numbers, and I got all of the organizations that are running the different hotline numbers. And guess what? Some of these hotlines are promoted on government websites. There are multiple of these hotlines that only exist to help people avoid ICE deportation. Some of these hotlines are on government websites where they are sending people to these hotlines explicitly for information about ICE. The people that are creating them are immigrant rights groups, but then they're coordinating with far left activists to promote the fucking hotlines and give people information. These are the people doing all the anti-ICE training. These are the people that are outside of ICE protesting. These are the people who are trying to block ICE from actually deporting people. It's all connected. And I really do think, and this might be oversimplification, but the fact that every single one of these hotlines has a specific zine that was created centrally in order to promote them, that to me tells me all of this stuff is actually connected and could be a way to actually go after people. Yeah, so we need to do this. So I did this one night when I was like working until 4 a.m. What I want to do now is I want to work with people, and anyone can get involved in this, and you can volunteer to help if you want to. I'll just give you the spreadsheet. We need to crowdsource the research on this. I want to know every single organization that is connected to those fucking hotlines, because those hotlines are not run by the government. And those hotlines are specifically created to help people avoid deportation and to report on ICE. So I want to find out who's promoting this stuff, who's running it. I want to see how all of this stuff intersects, because this is, you want to talk about fucking RICO? They're never going to get Antifa on RICO. They could get these people, though, I think very, very, very easily. If only anyone on the right was actually interested in doing something productive. Anyway, so that's what they're talking about in this article. I reported on this weeks ago. You're welcome.
How to report ICE zines. A simple black and white one-page PDF document that requires 4 folds and a cut in the middle to aid folding. This zine has gone viral on Blue Sky and Google Drive, where Piankowski houses over 70 versions of her pamphlet in English and Spanish with localized rapid response hotlines and resources for cities and states across the U.S. She makes these zines in her spare time, fielding dozens of requests for other locations to use her art to lend support. I really hate feeling powerless when horrible things are happening around me, said Piankowski, who drew inspiration from Kaba to make the zine. It's something I can do, and it's also something other people can do. If they're very vulnerable, ill on a visa, or have a small child and they can't protest, they can still fold some zines. You could do it at home and hand them out to your friends or people you know at the grocery store or cafe. Zine folding parties have also become popular in recent months. After ICE launched Operation Midway Blitz in Chicago in September, resident Emily Hillerin saw a local social media post where people package whistles with the Pills and Arts and Community House zine about warding off ICE.
And by the way, I also reported on this because they literally talked about this at the Zine Librarian Conference that I secretly recorded weeks ago. So I also reported on this weeks ago.
Hillerin started gathering friends at a local bar called Nighthawk to fold the zines and pair them with whistles. Soon, the bar promoted the events via social media, and other Chicago bars began asking Hillerin to host folding parties for them. She's hosted 7 events around the city, most at capacity, and has helped people organize 2 others. View image in full-screen zines created by the...
Actually, we've actually seen this zine. That was so good, I had to respond with money. Hey, thank you. Thank you for the money. I appreciate that. This is what they're handing out. The whistles are used to warn people when ICE is in the neighborhood.
People have seen the whistle kits and zines in person, recognize it a good, helpful thing, and they see the opportunity to contribute to it, she said.
Hang on, we got a super chat from Little Miss 2 Ladies. Karlyn, I'm so sorry I can't give more. 2 Ladies, you give so much, and I really do appreciate it. I'm about to be out of work for a few weeks during Christmas break. I will donate more when I can, and we love everyone's work, and you always... Thank you, 2 Ladies. I appreciate it, and do not worry about giving when you are out of work. You have been so generous. I so appreciate the ongoing support. I wish everyone was as generous as you. I'm looking at you, chat. 2 Ladies has shamed all of you with his ongoing and consistent generosity. He may only send in $10, but guess what? He sends in $10 almost every day, and sometimes more. Where are you guys? Where are you guys? Everyone should be following 2 Ladies' brilliant example in the support of my work. And so, bro, please, and I do genuinely mean this, I know you love supporting my work. Do not send me any money while you are out of work. Okay? Do not send me any money until you're back to work again, after Christmas, after the holidays, whenever that is, and we will rely on everyone else in the chat to show up and make up for it. Okay? I appreciate it.
People have seen the whistle kits and zines in person, recognize it a good, helpful thing, and they see the opportunity to contribute to it, she said. The social aspect of it has been really attractive as well. Everyone I've talked to says, I have to do something. I can't just sit home, looking at my phone and reading all the bad news. I have to get out there, be with people, and do something tangible.
Hey, thank
Zines
you.
have always been inherently social and political, since they began as fanzines centered on science fiction.
Zines have always been inherently social and political from the 1930s.
Zines have always been inherently social and political, since they began as fanzines centered on science fiction in the 1930s, with the first known being The Comet. Fanzines shared opinions and views that were often expressed in letters to the editor that publications rejected. Science fiction is a very political fiction because it's imagining different worlds and new worlds, and so the crossover politics happens pretty early, said New York University media and culture professor Stephen Duncombe, author of the book notes from Underground, Zines and the Politics of Alternative Culture.
I just want to point this out, and this is something that really made me wake up to how important zines were like a year and a half ago. Not only does the left produce an absurd amount of zines as propaganda in the real world, they literally write books about zines. They produce the zines and then they write books about the zines that they produced. So this guy, a professor at New York University, author of the book Notes from the Underground, Zines and the Politics of Alternative Culture. So it's like, and there are tons of books. If you go on Amazon and you do a search for the books written about zines, there are a ton of these. And I actually want to write books about zines too. I do, because it's a good form of analysis to be able to cover the left. But this is how you know the left organizes these at like the center of what they're doing, because they talk about it all the time.
Zines started out as talking back to mass culture, and part of what people want to talk back to mass culture is about politics. In the 1980s, during the punk rock movement, zines had their second birth, according to Duncombe, and it gave rise to the perzine, or personal zine of related experiences and opinions. Around this time, zines became more social before social media, with review publications like Fact Sheet 5 by Mike Gundeloy, which catalog hundreds of zines, becoming a place where people could learn about and request zines, discovering new ones in the communities with which they identified, such as queer, riot girl, and Afropunk.
And by the way that we found our way into understanding zines is through studying queer Marxism and studying the queer core movement. The queer core movement was a movement in the 80s within the punk community where a lot of the most insane queer ideas that exist today, queer being a far left political ideology, it's not about being gay or trans. A lot of their more insane ideas about the abolition of gender entirely came from the punk community in the 70s and the 80s. And we know that. Why? Because they were writing zines about it. It was first called the homo core movement, and then it became the queer core movement. Riot Girl is kind of like a subset of that. Riot Girl was a queer core band because it was also a musical thing where these queer bands were touring around. The most famous of which was Pansy Division, which toured with Green Day in the early 90s and stuff like that. So this was like not an insignificant thing. This actually did achieve a level of like popularity that was pretty ridiculous. And that is how a lot of these crazy ideas about gender and the abolition of gender made its way into the cultural zeitgeist.
Becoming a place. For example, Duncombe recalled an old letter published in the queer zine Homocore from a gay teen boy who lived in Montana and loved hardcore music. For that kid, this is pre-internet, and he lived in the world of country and western machismo straight guys. Duncombe said, this zine was like a world just opened up for him, and zines have always had that role for people. According to the zine community, the medium has always sought to inform the public, Kaba recalled reading zines in the 1990s that spread then little-known information about the abortion medication mifepristone and herbal abortions. All of a sudden, through zines, you learn how to self-manage your own abortion.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There are whole zines that actually, you know what's funny? I talked about this yesterday. So this is a communist planner. For people who missed this yesterday, this is a communist planner. It's a calendar. The communists produce this planner every year. They've been producing this for over 30 years now. And basically in this you obviously have your calendar. You also have a list of like far left anarchists like resources and stuff that we're all going to put into a spreadsheet on a map, and we're going to map all this shit out, and it's going to be awesome. But the other thing that you have is articles and tips, and I'm going to be reading some of the articles for my podcast on my Substack. But one of the articles, literally, how to perform a self-managed abortion. That's what that's about. It's called Abortion, Your At-Home Guide. In the face of escalating fascism, we take our health into our own hands. Whether you live in a banned state, are at the risk of healthcare racism, or just broke, self-managed abortion with pills is available, and it tells you how to have a self-managed abortion. And that is in this popular anarchist communist planner that is literally sold in far-left bookstores all over the effing country. And you can download it online. It's called Slingshot. It's produced by the Slingshot Collective. You can go to their website and see what's in this. And if you ever see something like this show up in a bookstore, then you are in a far-left bookstore. Congratulations. You found it, because this is one of those things that's like a signifier of like, if you see this show up, you are around far left subculture.
All of a sudden, through zines, you learn how to self-manage your own abortion, she said. Every generation has the information that is relevant to their cultural space that they're in, and zines are always going to speak to that, because those folks who are on the margins are looking for ways to connect. View image in full screen zine folding, and zines have long been a safe space for marginalized communities to express themselves. Nova Community Arts in Los Angeles hosts a weekly queer art hang workshop where LGBTQ plus folks can make, fold, and trade zines together in person without surveillance or bullying on social media. Being able to sit down in front of a piece of paper in a safe space amongst friends and community members is something that is honestly so healing for queer people who have experienced all of our lives. People telling us what we're supposed to do, what things we're supposed to put out there, and what we're supposed to look like, said Nova co-director Rosie Mayer. Though people often associate zines with Gen X, younger generations who have grown up with social media and cell phones, are turned to zines to inform and for solace amid the current political landscape. After ICE raids and protests erupted in Los Angeles earlier this year, 16-year-old Victoria Ettrick-Opry hosted a healing zine workshop for raid victims.
Oh my
God. And has continued to lead you zine events around.
A healing zine workshop. Sorry, I didn't realize I was on the wrong thing. A healing zine workshop for victims of ICE.
After ICE raids and protests erupted in Los Angeles earlier this year, 16-year-old Victoria Ettrick-Opry hosted a healing zine workshop for raid victims and has continued to lead you zine events around the city under a stage name, DJ Mariposa.
Yep.
There's no right or wrong way to do it, and people could get their creativity out, she said. A lot of people were thanking me and were happy because, yes, writing about political things is heavy, but it's also like a release, knowing that the zine could be helpful to someone or this could open someone's eyes.
Okay.
Year-end appeal
No,
at this unsettling time. We hope you appreciated this article. But in his first presidency, Donald Trump called journalists the enemy. A year on from his second victory, it's clear that this time around he's treating us like one. From Hungary to Russia, authoritarian regimes have made silencing independent media one of their defining moves. Sometimes outright censorship isn't even required to achieve this goal. In the United States.
Do you notice how in this article, this is all being stated as fact? This is literally all being stated as fact. Oh, shit. We're still in the appeal. Oh, shit. I thought that was all part of the zine article. That's not part of the zine article. This is part of the Guardian doing fundraising. Oh, shit. That is hilarious. The Guardian is doing fundraising by declaring that they're Trump's enemy and admonishing people if they don't support real journal. Oh, wow. Wow. Being free from billionaire and corporate ownership means the Guardian will never compromise our independence. Wow. This is incredibly communist. Yeah, so we've just discovered that commies own the Guardian. But it makes sense why they're reporting on zines then. We got to start reading the Guardian to hear the commie line. Let's actually scroll down to the actual article. Is that it? Did they take the rest of the article away because I won't pay them money? All right. Well, you know what? Whatever. I'm certainly not going to pay the Guardian money, but that gives you an idea, guys, that like, listen, this is a real thing. This is not just some crazy thing that I've been talking about for a year and a half about the zines. You know, people give me shit for saying I go undercover at leftist book fairs. Guess what I was fucking collecting at leftist book fairs? The fucking zines. If you want to know what propaganda is circulating in the ecosystem, to know how they're organizing, to know what ideas are top of mind, you go to the places where they are distributing it, and that is the book fairs. And as evidence of it by the fact that I just got kicked out of a book fair just for being me a week and a half ago, these are not public events that everyone is invited to go to. If they know that you are not on their team, if they know even like what did I actually do at that book fair I got kicked out of? I literally just collected the things they were handing out. That's it. But they don't want us to have access to this stuff. They are very, very used. The left is very, very used to the fact that people on our side don't read what they're putting out there. And so the reason they really kicked me out of the book fair is they don't want people like us looking at stuff like this. That is why they are more afraid of me than they're afraid of most people on the right, because I've actually honed in on the things that matter. I've honed in on the things that are driving their organizing, and I know where to look for the information, and they fucking hate it. But now we're going to learn more, because now we are going to listen to an interview with an ANTIFA, literally, ANTIFA, they, them, who is organizing and who runs one of the larger zine distribution outlets. Again, the term distro, if you hear the term distro, that means Antifa. And so we're going to listen to one of the people who runs one of these zine outlets talk about zines and give their perspective. This is a live stream that happened just a couple of days ago, December 13th, 2025. It only has 20 views. 20 views. I love it when we find really small viewed videos on the internet of communists talking about being commies. This is the best. So this is literally a podcast called Anti-Fascism OG, and this is an episode all about zines. We got Wolf with the big super chat. Thanks so much, Wolf, for your generosity. I really do appreciate it. After this, if you have some time, can we watch the Animal Farm trailer for the adaptation happening next year? It is ridiculous. Do you want to just watch it now? Should we do an intermission? Since I haven't seen it yet, actually. Okay, let's watch the Animal Farm trailer. Hang on, let me get it up. Hang on. So apparently, this will be a nice little intermission. And thank you again for the super chat, Wolf. I really appreciate it. So apparently, Animal Farm is now anti-capitalist and pro-communist. Apparently, they completely rewrote the whole book to make it pro-communism. Okay, let's see.
Cock-a-doodle!
Hi, Lucky.
What's up?
We are going on vacation.
I do hope it's somewhere good.
What does that say?
Laughter House!
That sounds awesome. I love to laugh.
It's a slaughterhouse.
Look at all this deliciousness. They want this.
Do you want to be food or do you want freedom? Then let's fight for it. We're free. Whatever goes upon two legs is an enemy.
4 legs, good. 2 legs, bad.
No animal shall wear clothes.
Huff, what? We're show pigs.
And all animals are equal.
Animals running a farm? I had to see it for myself.
Thank you. Aw, so cute.
Activate cute eyes.
I'd rather gouge them out. I want that farm.
We should move into the farmhouse, so the humans know we're in charge.
You are about to become my new best friends.
Oh
And humans
my
working together.
God.
I like the optics.
Oh, we love the optics. What are optics?
I think it's a kind of seafood. You're wearing clothes.
Would you look at that? I am.
Everything's different, but we're still friends.
All animals are equal, but some are more equal than others.
This is our home.
Squealer!
I parked the car!
Let's have no one do that again.
Animal Farm, a cautionary tales.
Literally fuck these people. Literally fuck these people. Literally fuck every single fucking person who was involved in the making of this. Literally fuck every single person who thought this was a good idea. Literally fuck every single person who thought that this resembled Animal Farm in any way, shape, or form. What the fuck was that? This is fucking, we should, you know what? Fuck this shit. We should protest this. This is what we should do. We should fucking protest outside of movie theaters or something. We should have some big fuck off protest outside. We'll pick a couple major movie theaters or something. We should actually protest this and make a big fuck off scene about it, because like that's ridiculous. I'm not even joking when I say that. Can we just get everyone in a fucking city who believes that's a tragedy to go stand outside the fucking movie theater with fucking signs and say, fuck this shit. Animal Farm is an anti-communist movie. It is not a pro-communist movie. It is an or a book rather. Man, yeah, like we need to, these people need to go away and never do anything again. Oh wait, it's on fucking May Day. They're releasing it on May Day. Holy shit. These assholes had the gall to completely fuck up Animal Farm and make it a pro-communism movie, and they're releasing it on May Day. Yeah, I thought Angel Studios was anti-woke. I was to understand they were the good guys. They were, yeah, okay. Don't fucking tell me. Don't tell me that it is an accident that they are releasing a complete sacrilege of a movie that I cannot even, and they're doing it on May Day. Fuck these people. We should protest this. We should actually protest. I'm serious. We need to go and stand out in front of movie theaters and say, what the fuck? And honestly, yeah, I don't care. I don't care how many movies on human trafficking these people have made. The fact that these people made this movie and think this is a good idea. It is a fuck you right to our face. It is a fuck you to everyone who hates the left and who loves Animal Farm, because it's a great book. It is they basically spit in all of our faces. So they can go fuck themselves. That's ridiculous. No one should be spending money on this shit. In fact, we should be canceling everyone involved in this. We should absolutely be canceling Angel Studios. We should be canceling every fucking actor that was in this. We should be canceling anyone that promotes this. I mean, like, full-on fucking cancellation. I want a mob mentality when it comes. This is sacrilegious. So thanks for getting me all pissed off. Can we go talk about zines now? Can we go talk about zines now? Yeah. Can we go talk about zines now? Let's talk about zines.
Or we will be. So all the noise, so we don't have any sound.
Fast forward to through technical difficulties.
On in a minute.
Hang on, they have technical difficulties at first. Okay, here we go.
Four bands, 9 songs, 1 good cause, and I even do spoken word on the thing.
Just in case people aren't following along, these are all far left bands. These are all like queer Marxist bands and punk bands. No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA. Hey, thanks for becoming a new member of the channel, Angie. I really do appreciate it.
Hello, y'all.
Hello.
We're working. It's working now.
Hello.
How you doing, Beth?
I'm doing okay. The cadre of dogs are all inside because it's cold, so I'm trying to keep them quiet.
Hey, thanks NPC for becoming a member of the channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the $5 super sticker, Luna. Guys, please make sure you mount the like button if you have not mounted the like button already. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. We stream Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Welcome to anyone who might be new. We are watching a far left Antifa podcast talking about zines, which is the far left's primary form of propaganda.
It's cold here too. It's cold here in Jersey because we're probably gonna get a little bit of snow tomorrow. And turn down my that sounds better. No, it's a little crazy right now because it's probably gonna be snowing. So there's a whole bunch of people running around trying to get the supplies.
Antifa audio. Antifa audio. This happens all the time on the far left.
It's just bitter cold here. Been taking care of goats and chickens and dogs and cats and trying to get everybody ready for it.
The good old days. Well, those would be the good days for my mother, but for me, I wouldn't mind going. What am I saying? Anyway, I want to thank everybody for their patience.
He's got to get his sound together, man. Come on. Fast forward. Get your sound together, bro. Okay.
Working on well, hopefully we're not working.
Oh, thank God.
Any problems. The only thing is our person that's monitoring everything. Beth, check your
I'm watching. They just joined. No
Yeah.
messages yet.
Oh no. I'm gonna say something's up with your headphones. You got them?
Yeah.
Guys, it is very common for the far left to have audio problems. They do this all the time. We just have to suffer through it. They're going to say something crazy eventually, I promise. You got mad at me the other day. I still love you. I promise to shut up and listen today. Hey, you know what? You know what I love? You know what I love is when I yell at someone and then they pay me money. It's like I'm a dominatrix, but I don't have to do anything sexual. I just yell at people on the internet and then they pay me money and they apologize to me. It's like, it's pretty great, to be honest, but I appreciate you coming back. Thanks for the money.
I can add them.
Yeah. Put them on. That'll kill everything. Because when we get that echo and the squelching, that's where the fun begins.
Yeah, fix the fucking audio, communists.
Yeah.
All right. Does that help?
No.
Let me find out. How's it sound? I'm talking to our
Okay, I'm gonna fast forward. We're gonna fast forward through the technical problems.
Anyway, but there was a lot that we wanted to talk about, and instead we're moving on just to be timely and all of that. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that we wanted to talk about last week. We'll get to it at some point. One of the things that we're going to be talking about, not today, but because I guess Beth, you're not going to be here next week, right?
That's right. All the holiday.
Oh my god!
I want to talk about Ameren since since somebody beyond us decided to start talking about us and start talking about it. And for those who don't know what Ameren is, and finally, they started to notice first with the local news with this cat named Phil Williams. In the words of John Oliver, that's a bad man. You do not want to fuck with Phil Williams. And apparently not, because now that he's covering the conference, now news people, and we should. I mean, it's going to be a New Year's one, yeah, because
I was fast forwarding a little bit.
Coming to an end.
Yeah, so many things happening in Tennessee, and there's that white.
Her audio is very quiet.
They've built down there, and he's covered all of that.
Oh yeah,
really
that's right. They are
straightforward. So he's really doing some good work getting this into the mainstream media.
Yeah, and one of the things that he is covering are those idiots that like to go online and harass kids.
They're talking about Handsome Truth. The communists are talking about Handsome Truth. Yo, they're talking about HT in a communist interview. I'm going to send this. I don't even know how to get in touch with HT anymore. You got banned on Twitter. I'm going to send it to Amalek, though. They're talking about, I cannot make her volume go up, guys. I can't make her volume go up. Like, I can't. This is their problem. The volume is maxed out across the board, so we're just going to have to deal with it. Get your fucking headphones.
One of them is a dude named,
Handsome Truth.
What's the name of his
HT.
And Sal, and then I can't remember his name, but I know he's Goyam the feet
HT
League. That dude, he's going after him in particular, but the SPLC is suing him. Is zeroing in on him.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Not only
that
him,
HT's
but
getting
another
sued
guy by the name of Paul Miller, who goes by the name of Gypsy.
They're talking about fucking Gypsy. Holy shit! These people are all in the in the dissident right wing drama. That's fucking hilarious. Actually, I gotta send this to Amalek. He's gonna love this.
Crusader who does the same thing and is only about a half a mile away from me.
Oh yeah.
I've been trying to make this dude's life hell, and I've been doing pretty good at it too, because he's always complaining about something that I've done without bringing up my name, which is cool. He probably doesn't even know who I am, which is fine. But anyway, we're going to talk about something a little bit more positive that has been going on over the past week or rather weekend, very seldom talk about the positive. But I I went to something called, where is my paper? This thing. Okay, right there. It was the North Zine Fest, and it was Saturday, and I got it.
Chad, does the sound get any better in this? I think Chad is in the chat, and Chad sent this to me. Chad, does the sound get any better in this, or is this just like truly suffering the entire time? Because I need to know. I need to know if the sound gets better. Because I don't know if I can sit through. I don't know if I honestly don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can actually sit through this with the sound like it is. Like these, and can we just reflect on the fact for the moment? These people are so fucking incompetent, they can't get audio to work on a computer, but they're winning. They are winning. They're beating us. These people are beating us. They can't do a live stream on the fucking internet without having fucking audio problems, and they are winning. And now my chat is not moving at all. I'm getting no answer to my question. So I have no idea if this goes on or not. Okay. Well, I will investigate myself then. We're at a minute of 13. Hang on.
And we grew up
where they organize, and it's all North.
Okay, so they actually go to the Zine Fest.
Where
does her sound get better?
Base.
Okay, her sound does not get better, but I guess we can just listen. And there's other stuff too. So there's other stuff that goes on in this that's important.
And basically, it's in the name. It's a festival for zines, and it was a real good one. And I hope we are going to be a part of.
No, zines are not direct action. That's a good question,
this
though.
Is my
no,
first time checking it out.
Zines are education. Direct action is when they go and do something. Well, then if your brain can't comprehend what they're saying, then what you need to do is ask a question. You need to formulate a question and use your words to ask a question, because saying I just can't understand it, that's not helpful to me. But if you ask a question and articulate what you're confused about, then I can help you understand it.
And I loved what I saw. And I have a little bit of a video to introduce you of the event. And as soon as I set it up, cue it up, here we go.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm here at the North Zine Fest here at the North Library. It's always a place that you will find all kinds of culture in this. Today is not different than anything that this library does. I love this library. But today is a day where we are basically adding to that history. And we're going to check it out.
Ooh, this is a Zine Fest, guys. This is what they look like.
This is the first one I have been to. This one, I really like it. I think it's like really well organized.
Double D's Dyke distribution. Let's look that up. Let's see. Double D's Dyke Distribution is a collective of lesbian artists and designers who self-publish. Founded in 2025, the growing international network addresses the ongoing lack of visibility, support, and resources for dykes in art publishing. While many dyke publishers are short-lived and digital-only, Double D's unites experienced creators to sustain the growth of presence of printed dyke publications. That's nice.
Setup is really cool. I like the space. It's cool to be in New Jersey.
I love it. I love a zine fair. I love Dents. They're an amazing.
This is going to give us all their publishing too. Actually, this is really useful, unironically. 924 Publishing. That's going to be a zine publisher, I bet you.
Collective. This is my third fair that I've done with them. I've done the Jersey Zine Fair twice, and now we're here in Newark.
We have a triangle. Triangle.
I run on art brand, I guess you could say, called Alien Nature X. I do a lot of lino cut block printing, and I'm venturing more into clothing design and upcycling. These are earrings, yeah, lighter holders. I work a little bit with clay too. I figured I'd bring those because they're kind of fun. But yeah, mostly I do lino cut prints and, like I said, venturing into more textile work.
I'm Christina Long. I am the Global Creative Director of Black Girls World Press, in particular Black Girls World Zine. My siblings and I are originally from the Midwest region, and we grew up going to a lot of alternative and rock shows and just really being in that scene. So as we got older and like migrated to all these other parts of the country, we continued to go to shows. And I would say this platform allows us to talk about what that experience is like for us, being Black young people going to these different shows, comparing notes.
Those are the whistle kits.
Now,
So the video that you just watched, guys, I want you to know that's what the book fairs are like. Those are the events that I have to dress up in a disguise in to go undercover at. Literally, it's just people tabling, handing out propaganda. That's what it is. And so again, you might say, well, Karlyn, why is that undercover? Well, if they know who I am, they'll fucking kick me out, even if I don't do anything. And so they also have, along with like distributing propaganda, they also have panels and sessions where they talk about like different organizing. They talk about different things that they're doing. So this is like a conference. These things are like conferences. They have whole presentations and panels where they're getting together to network with each other, to talk about different organizing strategies and stuff like that. But that's what it's like. What you just saw in that video is like you go into a space, they've got all these tablers and they're handing out all their stuff. It's like any other event. I need people to volunteer to go to these things in 2026. I want to train people on how to go to these things, what to look for, what to pick up, how to just collect all their propaganda so you can send it to me without getting caught and stuff like that. It's actually pretty easy. If they don't know who you are, they're not going to give you shit. They give me shit because they know who I am. Let me see, got a couple of chats. Random question. Do you ever ask for your contact? Do they ever ask for your contact info or social media? So what they generally have is like kind of any other conference is they have clipboards at their tables where you can put in your email address and stuff like that. And sometimes they'll ask you for it, but most of the time they don't. Like the left is actually like hyper paranoid about surveillance and stuff like that. So they usually just have like a sign up sheet that you can put your email address down on, but they don't like push it really hard. And it's not a requirement to get it. You never have to show your ID at leftist events. You never have to say who you are. You can sign up using a fake name. They have no fucking idea because they're hyper paranoid about surveillance. You guys are going to do it? You're going to go to Zine Things for me? Awesome. We'll talk about that. I'm doing a whole series of video about it. So can I Google leftist book fair? I mean, the proper term is anarchist book fair or zine fair or zine festival, something to do with zines. If you see anything to do with zines or anything to do with anarchist book fair, that's going to be a far left event. What about if you're just meeting a random person in a bookstore? You don't need to have an ID to meet a random person. They're going to ask you who you are. There's no filming allowed, but that's not to say you can't wear a hidden camera or wear Google glasses or something like that. But no, there's no cameras allowed. They do not allow you to take, like, again, like the left is hyper paranoid about being recorded. And so they will tell you no filming, or sometimes you can ask to film and they'll be okay with it as long as you don't film people. But yeah, there are no video cameras in there, but like you can always do audio recording devices very easily. And again, you can try to wear a hidden camera if you feel like it.
I should say that Dance Magazine is what put that together. They were a zine.
Thank you, JR. I will keep an eye out for it. I really appreciate it, bro.
And they turned it.
Well, like I said, just look for Anarchist Book Fair or Zine Fair. That one of the things you can do is find the far left radical bookstores in your area. There are absolutely far left bookstores in Minnesota, so find your radical revolutionary bookstores. You can even chat GPT this. You can say, chat GPT, I am in whatever city you're in Minnesota. Give me a list of radical revolutionary socialist bookstores within 100 miles of me, and it'll spit out a list of, and it's not perfect by any means, but it's a good place to start. And then what you do is you go to the radical revolutionary bookstores and you look and you see what flyers they have. You look and see what events are going on. People hang up. There's usually stuff you can take away for free, but all the radical bookstores usually have some space in it where like people can post about events and things like that. And so that's what I would look for, honestly. I'm not telling you on the internet, that would be retarded.
Into this. And next year they're going to start a community space for artists and for,
Would Pride events have zines? Yes and no. Pride events are not events that the far left cosigns. The far left is anti-Pride event because they believe that Pride is a corporate event that pushes rainbow capitalism. It's the evil capitalists that are taking advantage of the oppressed and blah, 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 blah. But when Pride events happen, there's often a lot of people there. And so the far left will go to Pride events. They will not be involved in the Pride events. The zines won't be the official Pride zine, but the far left will go and distribute things at those events in the hopes of taking people and radicalizing them to the far left. But it's not like you're not going to go to a Pride event and have a zine section at the Pride event. That's not going to happen because Pride events are liberals and progressives and stuff like that. But the far left does show up at those things. Sometimes they have tables at those things. So, for example, earlier this year in Boston, when I went to Boston Pride to cover that, the day before Boston Pride, there was the Boston Dyke Festival in which they set up a whole bunch of far left things on the Boston Common, and Antifa actually had a table at one of those things, and I collected a ton of shit from that. I collected way more stuff from that than I did from the Pride Parade the next day in Boston, even though there were far left groups that were involved in the Pride Parade as well. So I would say, like, when it comes to Pride events, they're not going to be like directly affiliated with the Pride event, but what you want to do is look for events that are happening around it. Like, look and see if there's like some sort of like I forget exactly the name. It's like literally like the Dyke Festival, the Queer Dyke Festival or something in Boston. Like, they were the ones that actually had the far left event in relation to the Pride Festival. It wasn't the Pride Festival. Hope that makes sense.
People who are just, I'll just write it and say it as this. Yeah. In Newark, New Jersey, which this event was held, they're going to be doing a community space, which
and guys, for everyone that's excited about going undercover, I'm going to be doing a series of videos on this. I've already kind of started it, but this is going to be something I'm going to actually make a class to teach you how to go undercover. And what I want to do is I want to get everyone together, and I want to create ways for you to be able to like send stuff that you're finding undercover into like a centralized location. I want to be able to coordinate with people all over the country. Cause like the thing is, I find events all over the country all the time that I can't go to. And quite frankly, it's getting really difficult for me to go undercover because I'm getting too well known. So I need people that I can coordinate with, that I can send an event and say, oh, there's something in Minnesota, you're in Minnesota. There's something in Texas, you're in Texas. I want to be able to send you guys stuff to go undercover at, and then you go and you report back. But also, you do need to like train for it. Like there's stuff that you need to learn in order to be able to go undercover effectively. Now, going undercover is super fun. And I'm super pissed off that it's getting harder for me to do because I love actually doing it. I love going to these events and seeing what's going on. But like there's stuff that you need to learn. I don't want to give the impression that like anyone can walk in off the street and not know anything about the left and effectively go undercover, because that's not possible. You have to learn the language. You have to know what you're looking for and stuff like that. But I will provide you with all that information. I will teach you how to do this. Just show up and learn. Keep an eye on the channel. There's going to be more videos. There's going to be a class coming next year and stuff like that. And I will definitely help you do it. And I will go through all of this stuff, like how to find the events, what to do when you show up, what should you expect, what should you do, what should you not do, how do you record them, how do you do this, how do you do that, how do you do that other thing. And you guys may also have some ideas for how to do it better. I've had to kind of figure this out on the fly, quite frankly. So maybe we can help each other do it better.
Just basically allows people to just go free with their art and what have you. And that, by the way, is something that One People's Project is getting ready to embark on.
Come on, bro.
Ourselves over the next year, but we'll keep you posted on that because we're gonna need money for that, and we're gonna need you to help with us right now. Right now, we have our fundraiser, our year-end fundraiser going on. So just go to onepeoplesproject.com/donate. You'll see the thing up on the front of the front page of One People's Project. You'll see everything that we're talking about, and we're also putting it around all over social media and things like that too. So we're gonna have more info in a bit. But
hang on, got a super chat. Thank you, Tiffany. When I associate with people on the left, I once helped a friend organize a booth at NYU. It was very interesting. Lots of books, lots of material. Yeah, there are a ton of books on the far left. Tons of books, because tons of book publishers. No, he doesn't understand. Guys, we're going to have to suffer through the technical difficulties because we need to hear the information. And so we need to suffer through the technical difficulties. It's just the way it goes.
We have a treat for you. But did you have anything to say, Beth, before I go on?
Just looked like a super cool zine fest. I love those things. There's always such cool people there. Wish I could have been there.
I wish everybody could have been there, to be honest. See, that's one of the reasons why I wish I wasn't dealing with such a my craziness with health, because there's so many of those things that I want to go to. And I had to cancel out on a few of them over the past year. And I don't want to do that again. I don't want to do that in the next year going forward. I want to make sure that we are out there as One People's Project and as IDAVOX. Yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of the stroke that keeps me from talking the way I want to talk.
What progress you've made in a year, though, Daryl.
Thank you.
So much progress, and we're so glad that you're healing and still doing the work.
I appreciate it. And I'm glad that you and others in the board. I mean, I don't want to say names out of place, but that stepped up and started helping. And I'm glad people came forward, because I mean,
see you, chicken
I'm losing
spawn.
my crew, because last year one of the main people, the couple that there are two people that I have been working with over the past 20 years or so, that that we basically kicked a lot of ass out there. We were
This
pretty
guy is
much
a
responsible for
retard.
shutting
This
down
guy's actually stupid.
Ameren in DC, and doing we have a lot of
This guy's
work out there
actually
that
dumb.
people are pissed at, pissed about the Nazis at least. One of them passed away of leukemia last year, and his wife, stage 4 lung cancer. So it's been a rough year. It's been a rough year for everybody. We're getting older, so these things are going to happen. Although he was 42, so, and it came out of nowhere. So, that's one of the reasons why I want to hype up people like Lo, who is one of our people that we are working with, the Forward One People's, and she joined me to do this interview, and we'll talk more with Lo later on, sometime in the future, because I want to have her on the show at some point as a guest host, and I want to, and the reason why is because she has a lot of stuff going on, and I don't want to talk out of turn again. So, when we have her on the show, we're going to explain. But she helped me with this interview, because we will talk about Warzone Distro.
Yeah, let's talk about Warzone Distro. Let's do that, please. Can we do that?
Who is based out of the Midwest, and basically they distro zines and pamphlets.
Wait, can we just fast forward to that?
Upheaval. Talking about how, we met up over at the Binghamton Book Fair, and enjoy it.
Is this Warzone Distro? Finally.
How am I going to enjoy it? Like this. All right, so I guess we all got to start.
Oh, that's Flower Bomb. Oh, I thought the woman was I thought the woman with the Antifa hat was Flower Bomb. Oh,
like
shit.
Right, so
that's Flower Bomb. We could have just fast forwarded through this whole thing. See, that's what happens when we just watch this content on the fly. Whatever is how it, yeah. That's Flower Bomb, though. That's Flower. I had no idea. I thought Flower Bomb was a girl. I did. I thought Flower Bomb was. I did not expect Flower Bomb to look like a. Well, I guess it's a they them, right? It's a they them. Okay. Well, at least the sound will be better. The sound is about to get a massive upgrade. We've all suffered, and now we will not suffer anymore, because I know I don't need to watch that Antifa woman anymore.
I guess we all got to start from where we began first, I guess. And the first thing I was gonna start talking about how, we met up over at the Binghamton Book Fair last year, I think it was. It was just last year, but I wasn't going to go to this year. And I was always interested in talking with you and about what it is y'all do, because the thing about the work you do and is the fact that you are making it easy for information to get out, and that's really important. It's really important when you're talking about hard copy information. That's missing.
Right.
That's missing to me.
Right.
I mean, it's always good to have information at your fingertips via the internet and all, but sometimes you just need to have something in your hand
right,
that you can pass off to somebody, or just have on the ready whenever you just need to just look at it, or something that you don't have to look for somewhere that's somewhere in the www or whatever.
Right.
So that's why I think it's important to keep things that are just like tangible. And I wanted to ask you your basically philosophy in that regard. Was that what you were thinking, or was that just where you were anyway?
Yeah. So what I was thinking about is the fact that because of the internet, people can like connect with people, long distances and shit, which is cool. They can like broaden their networks. But what I've noticed is that a lot of people have lost that kind of intimate connection that at one point had, where like we would have conversations and dialogue directly face to face. A lot of people will have these complex conversations. Politics and shit are wrapped up with emotions. So if you don't have the full spectrum of how somebody is emotionally reacting or responding to something you're saying, there's a lot that can be lost in that conversation. So with zines, these are like material things that people can take. They have the information immediately accessible, and then you can have conversations with the people that are distributing these, pieces of written material. And that's one of the reasons why I love tabling, is because it allows people an opportunity to ask me what my thoughts are on the shit that we're distributing. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the conversations that arise from having the material right there.
I was talking about this with Harrison on the show earlier, but one of the things he said, and it was a really good point, is he asked, like, is the left just doing more stuff in the real world? I was like, yeah. Like, it's not that the left doesn't do anything online. The Warzone distro is an online website. Anarchist Library is an online website. Like, all they distribute information online all the time. But what the left really loves is they love doing stuff in person and having in-person conversations about their ideas. And so this is something where even if they're distributing the materials online, they want to get to, okay, everyone needs to like get over how he looks. Okay. It doesn't fucking matter. They love to have conversations in person about these ideas, and that really helps people get more invested in what the ideas are.
And then being able to talk about this in a horizontal manner, I feel like those kind of connections can really like build people up and kind of help people remember that at the end of the day, politics is a way of relating to the world. And oftentimes politics are defined and determined by the powers that be, but we can create our own meaning and we can define our own relationships with the type of ideas and shit that the world tries to force down our throats. And then that also gives us the capacity to reject some of those ideas and actually stand up for ourselves. And I think that's where, like, in terms of empowering people really comes in, because essentially that empowers somebody to realize that they do have the power and the ability to determine their own lives and define their own lives. And the easiest way to do that is by making these stories and these ideas as accessible as possible, and then being able to communicate with other people about those ideas in a horizontal manner that's not top down like you see in like colleges, or you know what I'm saying, like politicians and shit like to talk down or whatever. And I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to share perspectives and stories and relate to another, maybe argue with each other, a good healthy debate, really powerful, and it can motivate us to keep moving, but yeah, that's kind of the way that I look at it. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. I mean, Lo has
Yes, I want to know. I think it's really great what you're doing, because I think about like in history, kind of how newspapers and printed newspapers worked. Essentially, like you talked about it, it became a community piece. It wasn't just, oh, I'm reading it, just getting information myself. It became like a discourse, like that was in person. Like the person would be like, oh, we know that dude reads newspapers. So like now it's probably like, we know that dude reads zines. And like, what did you see recently? Also, I want to know, like, why did you decide to call it Warzone Distro? Like, is there like a meaning behind that?
Yeah. So I wanted to call it Warzone Distro because I think that the entire capitalist industrial, settler colony that we are currently imprisoned by is an active war zone, no matter how much it tries to normalize itself.
The current capitalist economy that we are imprisoned by is a war zone. What Flower Bomb means by that is the United States of America, the capitalist economy. I told you earlier, they do zines as a way of getting out of the capitalist economy because zines are DIY. Anyone can make them. They are extremely cheap to distribute. They don't call for any of that Soros funding that I keep hearing about. Soros doesn't fund zines. No one needs to fund zines. That's part of the benefit of why they do zines in the first place, is they're extremely low cost to produce and replicate and distribute and all that. And they do it outside of the capitalist system because they hate capitalism, because these are revolutionary communists who want to overthrow the system.
Like, is there like a meaning behind that?
Yeah. So I wanted to call it Warzone Distro because I think that the entire capitalist industrial, settler colony that we are currently imprisoned by is an active war zone. No matter how much it tries to normalize itself and create its own ideas of good and evil and, its own meaning, essentially, I feel like this is an active war zone, and I feel like being upfront and honest about that is super important. And I felt like that name was very compatible with the idea of making the type of information accessible that I have. And the information.
Okay, can you must be new here. Can we get realistic for a second? There's going to be no trial for treason in any of these cases. Trump doesn't even arrest Antifa. So can we please like dispense with the owning of the libs in the chat, because I don't like this stuff where right-wingers pretend like these people are ever going to get arrested, or they pretend like the Trump administration is ever going to do anything. Literally nothing is going to happen to this guy. You understand that, right? They're never going to do anything. They don't even enforce the Antifa executive order. So saying, so it's treason, he can play this at his trial. Well, that's never going to happen. So let's hinge into reality and start dealing with reality. Thank you.
That I'm trying to make accessible is information that criticizes this very war zone. You know what I'm saying? So Warzone Distro represents a perspective acknowledging the world around us and distributes literature that criticizes many, many different aspects of this world around us. And at the very least, allows people to kind of look at things critically, and allows people the possibility to see that maybe the things that are happening in their lives isn't a direct result of every single thing they've done or failed to do, but perhaps maybe there's a current that tries to force us into a direction that maybe we're just not compatible with, but we would never give ourselves the credit in being able to see that or understand that, because there's so much social pressure to assimilate into, society's ideas of, like I said before, what's good and what's bad,
Well, you've been doing this for about 12 years. I mean, Warzone. And I'm quite sure you had some other people that you was putting this together with. How did this come about? How did where were you coming out of? What brought you to Warzone?
So I was active in a lot of different scenes, whether it was animal liberation, earth liberation, just general like anti-oppression type of stuff out in Chicago. And once I got a taste of all the cool things we were doing out there with this, with these different forms of activism, I wanted to bring that into the area that I grew up in, because I grew up in an impoverished area where accessibility to this type of material or these ideas was just absent. It just wasn't there. And, everybody talks about like, oh, Chicago or Miami, all these different cities around the country. And I was thinking like, well, what about like the burbs? What about all these little burbs that got hoods, that got people who are still struggling and all this shit, but they don't live in the city, so they don't have, readily accessibility to this information or to these ideas. I wanted to bring something there, but I didn't want to just limit it to there. I wanted to bring something everywhere, and it kind of grew from there. So I decided, the stuff that I'm learning about, I'm going to try to find bits and pieces of this either online or maybe at tables of events that I've gone to, and bring it back to where I came from. And before I even did Warzone Distro, I was already doing really, really free markets. I was doing Food Not Bombs. And there were a couple people that helped me with it, but a lot of people only helped for a little bit, and then they got busy with work or whatever. And I just didn't want to stop because I got a little bit, I got like a taste of being able to like see how just like talking with like homeless folks or like talking with people that society marginalizes can help boost their spirits, make them feel good, and get them through the day. And I wanted to do more and more of that. So I started providing reading material at like really, really free markets and the Food Not Bombs that I was in. And then people started reading that material and they started talking about like, hey, this is really good stuff. And then they would walk away talking amongst each other. You know what I'm saying? They would be having these conversations. And then I would see them like maybe a couple weeks later or something. And they'd be like, oh yeah, we were talking about this and that. It's like, so that's all it really is just, making accessible these pieces of reading material, stories and shit like that. Started from there, just a desire to like see people expand their perception of the world around them and seeing how that can empower them and wanting to do more of that.
I think one thing that's really great about you is that I think about the DIY scene, but I also think about the whole idea of doing it together. And like
it's a community building activity
on like yourself. You are focused on like the community. Like, oh, like there's even like the distribution thing. It's like, it's so cool because it's not like, oh, I have a zine and it's mine and I'm doing it. And this is what I'm promoting my zine. You're like, okay, I'm doing really free market. I'm doing like going out in the community. Like, what do you think brought that about? I mean, it like, that's a kind of a slight difference because I think a lot of times a lot of people are kind of like, oh, I want to do my thing and not, what made you think about other people?
Because I started writing, but I started doing that in about like 2017, 2018. But so I do a little bit of my thing, but what I like the most is when I see how people become empowered and then they empower other people and then they inspire other people. I like showing people that they're powerful. That's like the biggest thing for me is helping people realize just how powerful they are, because everything within industrial civilization is constantly telling us how like powerless the individual is. And I don't believe in that. I believe the individual is way more powerful because on an individual level, it is the individual that contributes in some way to building this whole empire or maintaining it. So I'm thinking like, okay, if you can't rely on the whole masses, you know what I mean, all at once or whatever, what about the individual? What about empowering the individual to realize that they could like reclaim their life and determine their life, on their own terms and without having to worry about politicians to like feed them or guide them or whatever, right? But then that individual inspires other individuals who are seeing that and like, that person can do it. Maybe I could do it. Let me see what I got. And I like inspiring people to
Oh, we're back. We're back. The internet's back. We're back. We're back. Everyone calm down. My internet went down for a second. We're back. Can everyone hear me? I don't know what the fuck just happened. I think the router just reset or something. I know I got to give you a minute. Okay, you can see me again. Okay, can everyone hear me? Sorry. I don't know what just happened. It started spinning on my end too. And then my internet went down and okay, everyone, we're back. Okay, we're back.
Like we're individual, unique beings, and each person has something about them that makes them uniquely powerful. And when people get together and they share these things together, shit, I mean, we technically built this whole society. Imagine what we could build if we really realized how powerful we were and we weren't governed or guided by people who constantly told us that we need them. Like you need a government. Accessibility to that reading material,
I mean, you froze a little bit there, but a lot of what you said, what you was trying to put out there is came through.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And I will tell you that's always been, you know, why we all do our thing. I mean, including myself. I mean,
yeah, look at you. Look at everything you've been doing, you know?
I mean, when you think about it, Joe, man, it's like basically, and I've always said this about being in the punk scene in the first place. It's like, or the alternative team. It's like I've always said, we are just people that ask the question, what will happen if we did this? And we just hit a button and come what may, you know? And I think we just ask people to press that button. And basically they already have that button in their hand.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's just like encouraging folks. And I think that's a lot of times you would see a lot of the folks that we encounter on the other side, or if you want to call them the other side, whatever, who are frightened of that.
Right.
Of us pressing that button, of us saying, we don't need you.
Yep.
I mean, that's one of the things that I think people, what kind of thing have you seen from the quote unquote opposition that says, oh, you can't do that. You can't. I mean, how many times have you been told that in your life? I mean, even especially now. Now. So, and one of the things I gotta throw out there is more than just with for Warzone. It's not just zines and stuff that you just distribute on your website and what have you. You also have a YouTube page.
Oh
where
yeah, there's a YouTube page.
Put it out there for everybody to see as well, visually and everything. Do you want to talk about what's on here and what kind of things have you have put out on the YouTube
talk about
channel?
that. That'd be great.
So I realized that a lot of people might not have the attention span to get through zines and stuff. So I'm a visual learner. So I was like, you know what? Let's show people in real life what these ideas could look like. This is what anarchy could look like, individual lives, right? People are always talking fashion state. It's about redefining and rebuilding relationships with each other in a non-authoritarian, non-hierarchical way. So a lot of the videos that we've posted have to do with, you know, sharing food with the homeless folks that we love out here. These folks out here are amazing. And I've been homeless out here for about like 7 years. So they all know me and I know them, but they all have something about themselves that I'm just like, I want the world to see, y'all.
If people want to contact you or, be part of the Warzone distribution, how would they reach out to you? How do they reach out to you? How do they, be part of this project and support you? Like even also financially, how do they support you?
So we make ourselves pretty accessible. I'm usually the one answering the email. I'm usually the one running the Instagram, but you can find us on Instagram, or you could just email us warzone_distro@riseup.net. And yeah, I'm pretty much available anytime because, sometimes people will write something, and they'll want us to distribute it. So we've done that many times too, because I like storytelling, you know what I mean? I like sharing stories, and I feel like that's a very powerful way of exchanging ideas and stuff. So a lot of people also notice that our zines are less academic, and I try to write in a way that's as accessible as possible. But we do have some academic texts on there. Just, people can reach out with whatever, anytime.
I want to thank you for being a part of all of this, about giving us the time to talk with you, and hopefully people will start reaching out and just letting you know that
okay, I'm done. I think that's enough. The sound issues are about to come back. We got this stuff. Listen, I think the most interesting part of this is just seeing what Flower Bomb actually looks like. I mean, there's nothing surprising about anything they said in terms of like what they're doing with zines. We already knew all this. And Warzone Distro, if you want to go to it, listen, it is actually, it's a pretty like standard kind of like distribution website for zines. And so if you want to see what they're writing about, it's on No Blogs, which of course No Blogs is like the anarchist web ecosystem. I will put that link in the chat so you guys can check it out if you want to. And I think we're going to call that a show. think we're going to call that a show. Tomorrow, we are going to be reviewing this ANTIFA document. It's a really long document. We're going to have to do a deep dive analysis. The enemy doesn't know how many we are. And we are going to go and a proposal for building an insurgency. And so this is something that literally just showed up on the Anarchist Library a couple days ago. And it's a really detailed breakdown about how to facilitate a revolution. And someone has put a lot of thought into this, and there are a lot of pictures and footnotes and all this stuff. And there's a lot of sections detailing explicitly how they plan to do an insurgency. And I think that we should probably read this and just, take a look at it. And we're going to do that tomorrow on the channel. And that'll be part of the Counter Revolutionary Book Club, which is a podcast that I do where I read far left documents and we talk about them. And I would like to get back into the habit of doing Counter Revolutionary Book Club because it is a valuable exercise to do. And so we will be doing that tomorrow. In the meantime, guys, I'm headed off. I will make a clip of the interview that I had with Harrison Smith earlier. I want to encourage everyone to check it out. Again, like the interview, if you guys are looking for something to watch the interview I did yesterday with Kim Iverson, because that was great. And then watch the interview I did today with Harrison Smith, because that was phenomenal. And it was really good. And so I'll have a clip of it for you guys. I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you to everyone who sent in super chats today. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys. I will see you guys soon. Gotta set my outro video. Oh no. All right, guys. Bye.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here? 3 months, May 17th. And what brought you? That's difficult to answer. is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.